section. About cults. Cults have existed throughout history and come in many different forms. Expert Dr. Stephen Hassan gives the following definition in his book Combating Cult Mind Control.
A destructive cult is a group that violates its members' rights and damages them through the abusive techniques of unethical mind control. It distinguishes itself from a normal, healthy social or religious group by subjecting its members to systematic control of behavior, information, thoughts, and emotions to keep them dependent and obedient.
How can sane and intelligent people join such groups? It is hard to understand for people who never consciously dealt with cults. Fortunately, academic research has dispelled some myths and misunderstandings in recent years. One such myth is that only weak people can be caught up in them. Here is what Dr. Alexandra Stein has to say on this topic.
I want to emphasize that the people who find themselves in cults, extremist groups, or even totalitarian nations are ordinary people who did not choose that situation. Rather, the situation or the group chose them. None of us are immune, given the right and the right situation. Yet, those who do become victims are demonized. This demonization prevents us from recognizing our own potential vulnerability.
In her book Terror, Love, and Brainwashing, just quoted, she explains cult dynamics and how cult leaders create a relationship of disorganized attachment, using terror, love, and brainwashing to gain complete control over people's lives. Dr. Jajna Lalich, another cult expert, explains in her book Bounded Choice what she calls the bounded choice perspective.
I have struggled intellectually with issues of belief and coercion, which I see as the heart of the matter. I have concluded that there is a particular state of being, which I call charismatic commitment, that can take root quickly, so that people become easily enmeshed and in some cases trapped, at least psychologically. This is the point at which there is a fusion between the ideal of personal freedom, as promised in the state goal of the group or its ideology, and the demand for self-renunciation as prescribed by the rules and norms. At that point, the believer becomes a true believer at the service of the charismatic leader or ideology. In such a context, in relation to personal power and individual decision-making, that person's options are severely limited. Hence, my overall conclusion is that the best way to understand why cult members do what they do is to consider them in a state of ever-present bounded choice, a narrow realm of constraint and control, dedication and duty.
In their respective books, Jajna Lalich, Stephen Hassan, and Alexandra Stein cite testimonies of survivors of high-demand groups or cultic organizations in various situations. The similarities between their stories and those coming from Bhajan's 3HO community are remarkable.